Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus, and we are here to talk about business cards. No, that's just there for the autofocus, because it doesn't play nice with this stuff. In my review I just put up of Mastermind Creation Cyclops, I perhaps somewhat heavy-handedly overstated just how scary his transformation is. It is kind of frightening the first time, but a lot of that is just because you don't know what's supposed to do what or how hard you can push things. So I'm going to just do a straightforward, I'm a transform it to robot, and then from robot back to boat. And we don't need any of this. That's why it's out here, because you're not going to see it again in this vidya. I don't know what to do with this. I'll just leave that there. What we do need is this. This is a boat, and we're going to start transforming it. So the first thing you've got to do, which I sometimes forget to do, is you have to tilt these down. This is to give you clearance to move the panels outwards. Now, the instructions kind of imply you need to unhook stuff up here and peel it this way. I find that is scary. I find that is genuinely scary. Although it's not as scary if things are not all tabbed in. Now they're all tabbed in. So I don't like trying to pull these panels up from here. What I like to do is flip this thing over, and then using the two fold-out stand pieces as levers, kind of try to pull it open from down here. And I find the rocket pods really kind of help with this motion, given the way that they're articulated. And by doing that, now I've totally just unlocked all the tabs on the top without as much fuss or potential breakage. After that, you take this whole frame, and it might get snagged on this thing. If it does, just go slowly and fold things out of the way till it's not. Fold it up here, and kablam. As you're transforming this, by the way, sometimes just the sheer, friction pop of things might make some of these tabs come loose. Maybe it's also just because I'm not being very careful, but I'm trying to show how uncareful you can be. And I'm also trying to show that this stuff is all doable, regardless of the fact that I lost two tabs down here. The way I pulled them forward should not have had anything to do with that. The way I lost these tabs is basically, I was turning them back into boat mode, and then the panels ended up underneath one of those tabs and tonked it right off. You don't want to have that happen. And then that happened to this tab first, and then 5 transformations later it happened to this tab, and now I'm just very careful putting all that together. If you just be careful and not dumb like me, you should be fine. You can fold these back, untab this thing, and this next motion feels weird because everything feels like it could be a little bit rickety, but Pia just said in his video he got confirmation that all this internal abdomen stuff is made from a super durable plastic. I don't want to test the limits of that quite yet, but I basically fold this out and then connect this together until it makes a nice solid connection noise. And again, these circular things, might want to fold them out before you do this just so they don't get caught on stuff or get in the way. Clank. Alright, we're good. Now, this part is the other kind of opening freaky part where you've got to put this together and then you're sliding this gray piece into the track here. That's the easy part. The hard part, or at least the dangerous part, is you're also sliding these two little L-ish shaped tabs into the L-ish shaped slots there. So just get it all lined up. Make sure you're kind of holding it downwards a little bit and just slide it gently and firmly. Boom, you're done. Now you've got the solid basis of Cyclops complete. Split his legs and let's start transforming us afoot. And zooming in and out and in and out. This next step is really hard. Alright, we're done. This part, the instructions say to do this second, but I like to do this first, which is fold this part up and into here. And then, as I said in the video, be careful here. Just only use as much force as is needed to get this to pop up. And then pushing on the arm, slide it in and tuck it underneath this part. Now, the instructions say to do that and then fold this bit in. I don't really like that order. That feels weird to me, but maybe it's just my religion. Then you actually got to flip this guy over. I'll just fold his leg around. You take the bottom of his foot and reveal it by not taking the bottom of his foot, by taking the deck of the boat, folding it over, kind of just firmly tabs together there. Fold his foot out and then just pop this bit out. Should click once or twice and then you've got a toe. We're going to do the same thing over here, only we'll do it from this view. Oh man, we're mixing stuff up. We're getting exciting. We're freaking out, man. I'm going to do this with the instructions order just to be a renegade. This is the one, by the way, where I broke the superglue bond in here. It is just a superglue bond, so I just re-superglued it, and so far it's survived every other transformation. So don't worry too much about that. If you do pop it loose, it's fixable. And this whole bit reveals that, and then come on, boom! Satisfying. Now we can stand this guy up. Aha! There we go. And get all 2008 style as I swivel the camera up here. In fact, I'm going to raise the tripod and narrate that I'm doing so just for you, Goggin! You're probably not even watching this video. So, I guess, F that noise. Alright, let's get him oriented and start doing an arm. This part, starting off with it all locked in place, you just got to make the light point at it, and then pop this part out, and then swivel this up, out of my way. Kind of unhook that, and make an amazingly lovely noise. And there you go. Now just pull down on this. Sometimes the automorph will get a bit jammed up, but it should pretty much work happily. And you're good to go for arm number 1. My apologies to those who dislike asymmetry, because this dude is hell of asymmetrical. I like asymmetrical robots, so I'm not the best person here. Oh, I forgot a very important step. There you go. Now, this part. The instructions mention that they'd like you to open up the cargo bay doors, which I suppose that makes this tab no longer have any stress on it, which might help prevent breakage, but feels a little bit superfluous to me. Now, the instructions also very specifically say to press down here. I thought at first that was going to be a button, but that's actually just to apply a downward pressure that takes these two tabs and lessens their grip. Just enough for you to get them a bit free, and then pull out to... Oh, wait, you know what I'm doing? I'm doing something very dangerous. You should also fold up the cargo bay door. Otherwise, there's stuff touching down there, and it all gets confused and tricky. Now! Do that. And don't accidentally leave the cargo bay door closed like I did. Maybe I'll cut that part out. If I did, then you'll never know what happened. Now we do a couple of simple panel folds. This part's a bit strange. You do have to... Oh, I'd recommend closing this door. They don't say that in the instructions, but it looks silly when it's open. This top tab, it's an easy fold over. This one, you got to get the cargo bay door out of the way, then fold this over. And then fold the cargo bay door back in place. There you go. Swivel his fist, and you're almost done this arm. Now is a step that I think this step is really cool. It's again, this is like, I love this kind of superfluous but like purposeful motion. There's an inner track. It's really hard to show in video without doing a huge focus close-up like I did in the review. But basically, you're going to where is it? There it is. Slide this up and then towards yourself. And that frees up a space here to roll his arm down. Now, we're on to the scary part. This is, I think, the legit scary part, which is that you have to take the backpack and twist it this way. That's not the scary part. This is the scary part. So, I'm going to take a little bit of time here explaining how this works. I'm going to move the camera forward. I'm going to lean in close, and I'm going to put my lips right behind your ears. Now, all this stuff is on these little, like, gray double joints. So, you kind of just open it like this, and then fold the gray joints up, and then kind of make a sort of, I guess, accordion-style fold-up. You're kind of forming the letter Z there. This is backwards, but you get the idea. Now, doing that means that the distance that you have to work with is that of however much you've folded over the gray piece. So what you want to have going on here is you want the gray piece to be at a 90-degree angle from the purple piece. That gives you just enough leverage to fold this part over, and then this part's easy. You just take the less scary part and fold it over until it kind of clicks into place almost through friction. The end result is that. See, that. So what you've done is you've taken this section and folded it like over on itself, as though this is the inside of a book and that's the inside of a book. You just folded it over. So again, you take this, and I don't know how I can possibly better show this. Maybe we'll do it from this angle. You take this, fold it down, and then over like that, so that the distance between that joint and that joint is the farthest it can be, or the distance between this purple platform and that purple platform is the farthest it can be. Then you fold this like that, and in here you might want to gently push in at a couple different points, kind of like at each of those three joints, and then once more at the back here. Just gently massage this if it's not going happily. And if it starts to bend this way, like over, bend it back this way. until you've got this like that, and then close that up. That is the scary part. Really, amidst all the other things on this guy, that is the frightening part. And we made it through it, ladies and gentlemen, together. Now we're going to finish off what is otherwise just a neat head reveal, as I said in Le Review. So I'm going to put that down there. This part, like, you don't really need instructionality for this. All we're doing is just doing a series of swivels. This next bit, maybe you need a little bit of discussion about... Discussion. What's a good angle to show you this at? On the back of this guy's head, the little platform it's resting on, there is a little kind of wide T-shaped platform tab here. You see this right here? And then there's a matching hole for it up there. So you're just kind of, I guess, resting that against that and then folding it down until you've got it happening in a way whereby everything happily comes together. Here we go. Kind of like this. See? Happily coming together. And now you're all set to go. I'm going to zoom out so you can see things. It might end up like this. Just push down. There are tabs, actually, on the gray armature here. Or there's holes for tabs on there that click into tabs. Now you just have to orient the backpack however you want. I believe that the artwork has it so it's like this with those pointy parts facing forward. It is really easy for the part that his head tabs into to start flopping around, because that is the part that actually doesn't lock into place. So if you do find that your Cyclops is starting to look funny, just go and check to make sure that's all locked up. And now we've pretty much got us a Transformed Shockwave Cyclops. So congratulations, you're done. You never have to turn him back into a boat, so I guess we'll say goodbye. Alright, it's dusting this guy. Oh, right. I don't know why I cut there. Maybe to swivel the camera and get in a comfier position. So let's transform this guy in reverse now. Start off by getting this up and out of the way. Take his head. Do all of the stuff you did with his head, but backwards. Blip, blip, blip. Get this down here. This part actually could have used some instruction. When you're folding this down, his head will often bang against something in there, so I would say tilt his head back like that, and then it should, if you kind of give it a bit of a nudge, get through there. Now it's folded away, squared away. All of our income taxes are processed. We're all good to go. I don't know what that had to do with anything. I'm going to unfold me some wing. This is another part that maybe could have used a bit of instruction, because it already needed, I think, a little bit more instruction on the first time around. It's just a really weird concept that's hard to just show in pictures and hope that people get. So when you're folding this back, don't just start folding it like that, because then bad things will happen. Make sure that those gray pieces are remaining at a 90-degree angle to this piece while you're folding this top piece around. And for some reason I find it's a lot easier that way. I think because there's a natural curve to this. And then when you fold this back down, this is also very important for the boat mode. Fold it like kind of down like this, and then match the corners up, so it's all nice and smooth and somewhat locked together. I feel so satisfied whenever I get this transformation done, and I don't find it hard anymore either. Like in the video, I was like, I'm starting to come to appreciate the engineering. By the time I actually finished editing the video, I'd transformed this guy like 20-25 times, and I really enjoy transforming him. I'm not gonna lie. For all the scariness of it, it's like with the Nightmare for Commander and Annihilator. Once I got over the first transformation, I was like, you know what, this is actually fun. I like this. Get this up here. Now instead of pushing it like in the directions we pushed it before, you're pushing it away and then down. And moving the cargo bay door back, swiveling the fist around. This may all feel like familiar territory, ladies and gentlemen. Several parts of this transformation I find are actually much easier going in this direction. I don't really know why. Oh man, we are bright today. But oh, be careful when you're pulling these parts out. I found like when you pull this, it's actually quite easy to sort of untab this panel, which it's connected to, which is not meant to untab. So maybe get your finger in between there when you pry that stuff apart. Oh hey, it's looking like a boat. And I guess you're supposed to open this cargo bay door up again. I honestly find it's pretty safe when I don't. And also, don't just like ram this together. Kind of make sure you are pushing down a little bit to get those teeth under there before you finish pushing it together and making sure everything tabs up nicely. Now we're all set to go. I'm going to leave the cargo bay door open because, you know, I leave doors open. It's just what I do. Swivel the gun back. Now the automorph kind of works better this way, I find. Maybe it's just with mine. Oh no, I said it. Now it won't work better. If it is not working or it's just feeling like it's getting a little bit jammed, you can just give it a bit of a nudge up while you're pushing forward. And eventually everything kind of gears together happily. Oh, that's why. Never mind, I figured out what's up. I hadn't folded the shoulder pad properly. You might want to actually connect the shoulder pad up here first. Then fold this up, and then push this together. There we go. Now we've got, like, part of a boat ready to go. I'm going to pull this down. Oh, here we go. This is actually important. And I shouldn't have pulled that down, because I've got to just pull it right back up again. When you're going to untab this part, in the video I mentioned one way to do this, which was to push this forward and unlatch it. I find that way feels safe, but I'm sure if someone could accidentally break something trying to do that. So if you push in here and hold your thumb down the entire time, that is a way to push things out this way that ensures that those tabs don't get, like, bitten off. So just be sure you don't break these tabs. They're very important. I've now heard reports of someone who did break them, and he said that it did pretty much neuter the toy's ability to stay in one piece at the waist. So be careful. Also, this part, I think this part's a little bit tricky. I just pop it like that, but just make sure you have a full grip on both pieces before you pop it, and do it before you swivel this piece up into here. Otherwise, stuff might get tricky. Now that you've done all that, he fell down, and the Autobots won the Great War. You might want to actually do the legs before you do all that, in hindsight, but the order of this stuff really comes down to whatever you find most comfortable. Make sure, by the way, when you're folding the feet up, you get this part out of the way, and then fold the foot up. Ha! We're winning, ladies and gentlemen. We're winning at transforming action figures. This part is kind of tricky. Now, I said try to push on the back end of the arm in here. Admittedly, that is kind of hard. And if you are careful, you can, and I'd say fold this part out first. This is where you want to fold that part first, for sure. Is maybe just fold it out of the way and just make sure you're not pulling up on this piece. Don't pull up on it or stuff will break. And try to be kind to it and just gently convince it to slide forward, and then fold this part up like that in the middle so that tab goes down under there. And come on. There we go. And then you do need to push down on the sliding part to lock it in afterwards. Let's do all that again. Ooh. Ah. Ooh. Mmm. Yeah. You're gonna... Oh! And you in there and push you down. Oh! Ah. Man, I should never do that again. Alright. Getting the tabs together for this should be simpler than I find it to be, and maybe I'm just an idiot, but for some reason I'm really good at slapping the legs together and not actually successfully pegging them together. So just make sure all of the little tabs inside are lining up and it all feels sort of firm, and then swivel this around like das. Hook this up in there, and then hook this onto the back here. Boom! Alright. Now, this is the final scary part, because this is how I broke tabs off of mine. But this is also a part where you can be on the road to victory and then everything goes horribly wrong. It's so much the most scary part, I'm even going to jump cut and start it over again to make sure I show it to you in much better clarity. So, let's fold this part over, and getting this circular bit here out of the way. Get this in position. Alright, now, make sure that all this stuff is oriented the right way. Like, if this stuff is folded over improperly, you're not, and you don't notice it until you've got things mostly closed up, it's frustrating, because you have to open it all up again to get this put together the right way. You just got it. Don't try to fix it from boat mode. That's how stuff breaks. So make sure that this curve, you know, it's nice and smooth, all the teeth are on the inside. Get that set up right away. Now, on the other side of the boat, maneuver all the tabs into their positions as you would. There. So, it's kind of like a popping boat. Now, the part that's going to do most of the turning is actually going to be these rocket pods. Because they're multi-axised, they're a great way to gently get the boat back together. So, while I'm transforming stuff, they're going to be folding together and storing next to each other inside this crevice. But sometimes it's easier to watch what you're doing up here while doing that motion down there. So we got that one together. And pushing this from the inside a little bit. We got a pop. We got a pop. Alright, we fixed it. There we go. That's all smooth. That's all smooth. So up here, next part I like to do is just ensure that the silver tabs are kind of in place. Alright. That's all underneath the deck. I find the silver tabs are the important ones for locking. These two parts here, those are actually the scary torso tabs, just having clearance in there. Don't try to make them clip together. Just focus on the silver tabs. That's my recommendation. And then if we push this together, okay, and then double check this stuff. Alright, I think we've got a boat. So, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of that stuff, the boat and everything, it's all still pretty solid, even though these two tabs are missing. The only adverse effect is sometimes this part sinks down just enough so you can see where they snapped off, and maybe that has some kind of, like, daisy chain linked effect as to why the legs here tend to come apart a little bit, and I have to squeeze them together more often than perhaps I should, although they're very tightly held together by this part. Pretty much, that should give you an idea of just someone transforming this thing, and hopefully that will help you not break yours. So, just be careful with it, control your strength, things I said in the review, and you should be golden. Just enjoy it, don't roughhouse it, and if saying that really puts you off the toy, then I might be saving you a whole lot of heartache. I love this toy, and I do recommend it, but you gotta be able to be careful with it and learn how it works before you really just start to casually transform it. The way I broke those two tabs is I was out at a late film shoot after a long day at school with not much sleep. I came home to find this waiting for me and dove right in because I really wanted to get the coverage going, and I think that contributed to me pretty much transforming this stuff and then having those tabs sticking out over top of this when it was in this formation, and then trying to maneuver stuff around and then basically ripping them. I applied pressure in this direction from the bottom up against tabs that are supposed to be underneath this. That's how I broke those two tabs. It was certainly not an easy break to do. It took some considerable user error on my part, and I guess that proves that you can, in fact, break tabs on this toy. So, just be careful. Just be careful. Good night, everybody.